Hey guys, I'm going to talk to you about what the interest rate rise means for property values in Australia. Now, every second media article I'm seeing at the moment, there's talk about interest rates going through the roof, and the Westpac Bank has made an announcement that they think that the property market is going to drop by 14% in the next year. There's other people talking about the property market going up in the next year. So there's all this white noise. And now a lot of the media is pumping the interest rate rises that are inevitable in 2022. So this could happen one time, it could happen twice. Now, what my personal belief is, being on the ground, is certain areas of the market have slowed a little bit. In saying that, there's other areas of the market, and I'm sure you've seen the auction clearance rates, they're still extremely high. So there's still plenty of markets powering through, even though there's all this media hype about property markets decreasing. Now, one thing that is going to keep property markets increasing is the lack of material supply and also the price of building. So you've got this massive increase in building costs, which has to be passed on to somebody else. Now, building costs have generally made a 30% increase over the past 12 months. And I think they'll do at least another 10 or so percent this year. We're already seeing builders in our developments passing on cost increases just from the start of 2022. And they believe it's actually going to get worse into 22 and then maybe ease off by the end of the year and maybe early into 23. Now, I think that is going to hold back not only the economy, with construction not being able to produce as much as what it normally would. You're going to see a lot more builders going bust that are already hurting from price increases. So our construction industry makes up a huge amount of the GDP. So you're going to have other areas, other sections of the economy that's going to prop up our economy. But things like construction, retail businesses, they've hurt a lot in the last 12 to 18 months. And I believe that they'll probably experience some more pain moving forward. It is positive to see that a lot of people going back to retail, although in saying that, there's still a lot of us now used to buying our goods and services online. And if you've bought things online, for example, your food, groceries, things, gadgets, you're getting used to that spending habit of spending online. So I believe long-term retail is going to hurt, construction's going to hurt. And I think off the back of that, our interest rate rises, if we even see one in 2022, may not be as bad as what everybody thinks. So now everybody's thinking there's going to be 1, 2, maybe 3 interest rate rises. The banks are on board on this because they're trying to soften the property market. And they're probably doing a good job at softening some of the property markets, or softening what was in 2021 a huge growth market, which I don't think we're going to see again in most areas. I say most because I believe that there's some areas that will grow as rapidly as what we saw in 21. So yeah, there's all this media hype around interest rate rises. I think we might see one interest rate rise, is my personal opinion, maybe at the end of the year. But the reason why rates are being put on hold by the RBA, I believe, is that they're waiting to see what the economy is actually doing post this Omicron variant, and now that business is sort of back to normal. The inflation figures, I believe, are a little bit inflated because of lack of material supply, and you might have read that in media articles. So because of the lack of material supply and also logistic chain supplies and things like that across most industries, if not all industries, means that people are able to charge more for things because somebody's passing on the cost, because it's costing them more right at the start. Then the logistics are costing more because there's less people, there's less availability, so people need things urgently. And when people need things urgently, and when there's labor shortages, well then existing labor asks for more money. Logistics companies charge more, they have a premium, and then again, if they're short on labor, then their labor force is going to ask for more money to actually do the job. The subcontractors are going to ask for more. So it all has a flow-on effect. Now, what's going to happen once we introduce migration into Australia and these supply chains start to ease up worldwide is that Everything's going to go back to normal. We'll probably have excess supply of everything because people have over-ordered during COVID, and then prices will start to flatline. And then as things start to progress onwards, then we're going to see a decline in prices. Now that obviously has a flow-on effect to inflation. So I believe we might see a couple of interest rate rises over the next couple of years, maybe one in 2022 in the later part of the year, maybe. And this will not affect all property markets, if any at all, in Australia. 2023, I think maybe in the late part of the year, we might see property markets starting to soften Australia-wide. In certain parts of the country, this is already starting to happen a little bit. But when I say softening, I mean we might see some markets in 2023 in slight decline. I believe everybody is moving back to the capital cities, and that these regional communities that have had a huge growth in the last 12 to 18 months may even see slight declines or potentially significant declines if those markets are being oversupplied. And regional markets can be oversupplied by developers like myself very easily. You go and build 500 or 1,000 homes in a small regional market, you'll oversupply it, everything will drop, rents will drop, values will drop, and it will happen almost overnight. I've experienced this, watched this happen, where property prices have dropped dramatically in regional towns, and only off the back of increased supply and then slight diminishing of demand. So if we do see people in the regional towns moving back to the capital cities, I think it'll have the opposite effect. Regionals will go down, capital cities will go up. And I think we might start to see a little bit of this in 2022. But overall, 2022 for property is going to be a strong market. So if you are looking at buying, make sure you do buy well, be a bit more selective. Don't pay over the market value, because 2022, although it might be rising, if you're going to pay 10% or 20% over market value, which is what I personally have seen over the last 12 to 18 months, the market may not cover you for that period of time unless you're in a hot market. And I'm not going to jump into detail on what I think the hot markets are just right now, but I will do a separate video on that. Thanks for watching. Happy hunting, happy buying, and hopefully you've gotten value out of that. Just leave us a comment, let us know what else you want to know about the property market and where we think the market is going in 2022.